Alright, hello Magic fans. This is your first time here. My name is FiddlinJonny. It's my fiddle channel and magic product review. And yes, I like to do a quick fiddle tune before I jump into any magic product review. I know not all of you love the fiddle part. If not, you can just go ahead and skip forward. It's okay. I play the fiddle because I think fiddle and magic have a lot in common in terms of rhythm, timing, choreography, practice, all that sort of stuff. Here we go. That's called the Humours of Ballyloughlin. Hope you liked it, but it's not the entire tune, just a snippet. If you're interested, go YouTube it, you'll find it a bazillion places. Anyway, I know you're really here for the magic product review. And damn, do we have a doozy today. This is the Rough and Smooth Index by Eddie Raymond. I believe we're in a new era of magic when it comes to the indexes. Last year had a huge release with decks by Javier Fonmeyer and Lloyd Barnes over there at Murphy's Magic. And now Eddie Raymond has released his index, which he's been using for years, makes them himself, and touts as maybe the best and fastest index out there, or something along those lines. At any rate, I have a lot of opinions about indexes and whatnot, so stick around. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this one. Alright, let's get right into the Rough and Smooth Index by Eddie Raymond. Let me show you what it looks like just for starters. I'll bring it up to the camera here in a second so you can see it a little closer. If you do not know what an index is a tool. So you're purchasing a magic tool in essence. And what it does is it gives you immediate access to any 52 cards in a deck of cards. And typically it gives you access to a card that a spectator has thought of or has chosen. And then you can reveal with a card reveal however you want, because you have this tool with all of these deck of cards in your pocket that make it easier to access the card. That's what an index is. This one's unique in that it's a rough and smooth index. And what that means is Eddie has taken every two cards and he has roughed all of the cards together. My apologies about my dog. So they're roughed in pairs. They're roughed based upon color. So your hearts and diamonds are put together, and your clubs and spades are put together. And they're done in, so like my 6 of clubs and 6 of spades are rough and smooth together, and my 6 of hearts and 6 of diamonds are rough and smooth together. So the rough and smooth index. Let's talk a little bit about what do you get here. So in this lovely carrying case, boom, you're gonna get your index, all right? It comes fully loaded with your 52 cards that have already been rough and smooth for you. You're gonna get a free video that's about 11 minutes in length, tutorial video, and it's already free and available up on YouTube. You can go find it now, just type in Eddie Raymond, Rough and Smooth Index, and it'll come up for you. I'll probably put maybe a link to it as well down in the description so you can go check it out in advance of actually purchasing the index. And then it's going to come with some hand-printed instructions. So that's what you're getting. Let's talk about the instructions. And let me begin with, I really like this index. The weakest point in this release is the index. The index. Scratch that, boop, boop, is the tutorial. The tutorial is the weakest part of this release. But despite it being the weakest part, the truth is you get the essence and the essential elements of what you need in order to get up and running with your index. And up and running within 10 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about the tutorial. The tutorial is filmed clearly at home and probably is in his living room. And it is not high-tech. It is not a multi-camera shoot. There are no fancy transitions, no fancy zoom in and zoom out, fancy cut live performances, nada. None of that. There's no live performances on there. You're simply getting Ed in his living room, or Eddie in his living room, with somebody who has a handheld camera who is filming him. He's going to go a little bit about the history the design of designing it, how it is set up, and how to use it, which is essentially all you need to get going. You're not going to get any tutorial about, here's 3 different routines in which to do it. There's no routines. That's up to you. You can go out there on the internet and find other releases, great big releases, that have given away for free routines. Go watch those, and then you could still use all of those with this index. All right, so while it's not a fancy sort of thing, it's clearly filmed at home, and yet you're still going to get what you need. What's more important is this question about how is the gimmick, and in this case, it's not a gimmick; it's a tool. How is the index itself? And I think when you're looking at indexes, there are a couple of clear questions that you should always ask yourself. And that is, how easy is it to find the card in the index? How fast can you find that card? And I'll qualify that, like how fast can you find the card? It almost doesn't really matter in real life in terms of how fast you can get it, but I know everyone wants to know, how fast can I get to that card? So that's one of the questions to ask yourself. How confident are you that before you're pulling the card out that you have the correct card? For me, that's super important. I want it to be easy as if possible, and then that I have confidence that I pulled the right card out. Another thing people want to know is, how big is it in my pocket? Is it noticeable? Can I reload it in front of my spectator while it's still in my pocket if I needed to? Or do I have to do it outside of my pocket? And how many cards does it hold? Does it hold all 52 cards? Does it hold jokers? Those sorts of things. So let me go through each one of those questions here about those. Actually, before I do that, let me bring it up to the camera. One of the things about this index, and I think this is true of every index I've just about ever seen, it's not going to win any beauty pageants. This is the index right here, the Eddie Raymond index. You can see the side tab system there and what the back looks like. And yes, you're asking, is that like duct tape or electrical tape? Yeah, something along those lines. And yeah, that's it. It's durable, it's flexible type of thing. Some folks probably would say, what is it in retrospect to Dex? Like, I bought Dex and Dex fits really nice in my pocket. How big is that? Well, here is Dex, and you can see the difference in the size of those two indexes. If you put them side by side, you can sort of see the difference there size-wise. So that's Dex, and here's the rough and smooth index. Rough and smooth index, considerably smaller, I think, in overall size. So neither of them are going to win any beauty pageants. But it doesn't matter because it sits in your pocket and no one should ever, ever, ever see your index anyway. You want to know, is it durable and going to live in your pocket and be fine? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. All right. So how easy to find the card? In the tutorial, it says within 10 minutes of practice, after you've watched the tutorial, you should with relative confidence be able to find your card. And I'd say a strong, solid yes to that. I was within 10 minutes, and I practiced like for 10 minutes straight. And in 10 minutes, I just found like, oh yeah, I've got this down now. I could go out and perform within 10 minutes with it. Now I need to make sure I have a really good routine, but in terms of it providing exactly what it's supposed to do, easy to find the card. And within 10 minutes I was able to do it. After probably 15 or 20 minutes of just consecutive practice, I did that sort of thing where I was using Siri and then Google to pick cards randomly, shuffling cards randomly and turning a card over to see how quickly I could get to a card. And after a while I gained so much confidence that I had the right card, I just stopped looking at the faces of the cards because I knew I had the right card, and I'd have to stop myself and say, wait, stop, just confirm that you have the right card. So I guess that's my long-winded way of saying it's very easy to learn, and I, within 10 to 15 minutes, had very high level of confidence that I was always pulling out the right card. I know this is not a side-by-side of Dex. I gave Dex a good review. I liked Dex, but the learning curve on Dex with the level of confidence that I had the right card, a lot longer. And I'm not sure now that I have higher level of confidence that I've got the right card on this one compared to Dex. So, and I know people's experiences may vary. That's my experience. I'm sure there's folks who love Dex. I still love decks. I still carry it with me on a fairly regular basis. But my preference has shifted to Eddie Raymond's rough and smooth index. I like it. It fits nicer into my pocket, and I have a higher level of confidence. All right, how fast can I find the card? Doesn't matter how fast you can find the card, but I would say, speaking broadly, you're going to be able to find your card between 2 to maybe 5 seconds to get your card. So my own experience when I'm performing with people, I really just take my time because I don't want to draw any attention that my hand is in my pocket and that I'm doing anything in my pocket. So I tend to try to be calm and smooth, and then once I have confidence with my hand in the pocket that I have the right card, then I begin to either cop it out or put it into a wallet, whatever sort of my desire is. But but you can't get within 2 to 5 seconds. Okay, the other question is, what's the confidence? I've already said that. Within 10 minutes of practice, I had confidence that I had the right card, and it feels pretty consistent to me. Is it big in my pocket and noticeable? No. It looks like a deck of cards in my pocket, and no one should ever be thinking about putting heat on your pocket anyway. So, but it is small enough, fits in my pocket. I would add one caveat, and my caveat here is true of any index I've used so far, in that I don't like to use indexes in my blue jeans. I find my blue jeans pant pockets are just too small and too tight. And mostly tight when I'm going into the entrance and trying to pull out a card. I feel like, because I got to get my hand in far enough into my pocket, and as I'm pulling it out, I feel like I'm fumbling because there's not enough space or room in my pant pockets. So I always personally like to use it and perform more often, like with dress pants or a khaki. Those are larger pant pocket. I have more room, easier to get in and out of those pants pockets. So for me, if people say, what's it like in blue jeans? I don't perform them in blue jeans because I find my blue jean pant pockets too tight. Only perform them in like a khaki or some sort of like dress pants for them. So that is the one thing that, that's my experience. Yours may be a different experience depending on which blue jeans you're purchasing and the size of those pockets. All right, the next question was, can I reload it in my pocket or do I need to pull it out? Now, Eddie Raymond on his says, yes, you could reload it in your pocket, but he mostly seemed to focus in on reloading it outside of his pocket. My personal experience is I just preferred loading it outside of my pocket rather than reloading it in front of my spectator. There's no need for me really to reload it in front of my spectator anyway. So once my spectator's gone away, if I'm moving to another table, I simply pull out the index and reload it into the index at that point. Does it hold 52 cards plus jokers? It does hold 52 cards, all right? It is a full deck of cards, does include the aces, but no jokers. But if jokers were important to you, just throw a joker into your pant pocket outside of the index, and now you have jokers as well. All right, we should talk about the skill level. I would call this advanced to beginner. But if you're a beginner and you're very early in the beginning stages, seriously, within 10 minutes, you should be able to use the tool, all right? Now, your performance and style is different, but you'll be able to use it as a tool within 10 minutes, I would say with pretty good confidence, and then from there, make sure that you're doing a routine that complements and allows you to, make a powerful performance. So, but I would say it's advanced to beginner, but that advanced beginner in 10 minutes is going to have it done. All right, so I think I've mentioned most of the pros. It's a strong, durable index. It fits nicely into my pocket. Spectator can pick any card that they want, and I have access to it. I thought the rough and smooth aspect, which I really have not talked about, is a pro, but I did not start off with that as being a pro in my own head. In fact, it's not explained really in any depth in the tutorial as to why they're rough and smooth. And I initially thought, I'm not sure I like the whole idea of them being rough and smooth. I'm just gonna pull these out and just put in a regular deck of cards because I don't quite understand why they need to be rough and smooth. What I found is the rough and smooth increases my ability to have greater confidence knowing that I have the right card. And it's difficult to explain why that is other than to say, you've got these tabs on here, and when I'm going in to go to a tab, I don't have to fumble around like with a front card or back card or try to flip with my thumb and try to feel, how many cards, because they're paired up, it just makes it easier. If I need to go for the 7s, I know where the 7 tab is, and I can just pull the 2 that are rough together and separate and pull out the 1 that I want. I found that it just was easier, and I liked it and was a little surprised because I didn't expect that. And it really came out to not really being explained much in the tutorial, and through my use and practice went, oh yes, I absolutely prefer the rough and smooth. It does mean that eventually they will get worn out and you'll just need to replace them with regular cards. If you just want to use, don't want to use the rough and smooth, that'll work fine as well. But you may then need to buy a new rough and smooth deck or build your own rough and smooth deck, which does not included in the tutorial. Comes with a nice carrying case. And the other thing that I'd say as a pro is that this is a kitchen table business. Eddie Raymond doesn't go through any of the big distributors like Murphy's Magic, Vanishing Ink, Penguin Magic, Alakazam, any of those folks. He really sort of cuts out the middleman and does it from his kitchen table. He custom builds each one of these himself and mails it to you directly, thus keeping costs down, which I'll talk about when we get towards the end. And that's another reason I sort of like it, is that, here is Eddie, who's been performing for decades, has created an index that worked for him and is now sharing it with us, and he's selling it essentially from his kitchen table. All right, the cons, I've already mentioned it. Tutorial, a little bit lacking, but you get what you need. I mentioned the cards will eventually bend and stuff. Any index I find is that the cards tend to get damaged and bent a little bit quicker than if I'm doing other routines. So that's not unique here. I think that's all I have to say there about the index. I should talk about who will like this. I really think that if you're a card magician and you like indexes, you're gonna like it. It's as simple as that. We should talk about the cost. In the United States, Eddie Raymond makes these for $49. So just basically a buck shy of 50. So $49. Internationally, you can purchase these and shipping is covered, and it'll be $74.95 in US currency. So Eddie sends them internationally, but your cost will be a little bit more at $74.95 US. Where can you get these? Well, they're not sold through like any of the big distributors. You go to Eddie Raymond directly at eddieraymond.com, and once you get to eddieraymond.com, you'll be able to purchase it there. And Eddie has other products that he releases there. I have his Peak deck, which I've used as well, and you can see that, and I've reviewed it as well, so you can see that. So, and I would like to thank Eddie. Eddie Raymond did send this to me for review, and my apologies, Eddie. He'd sent this to me months ago. Took me a long time to get to it as a review, but finally have. So thanks, Eddie, for sending this to me and allowing me to review it. All right, I think final thoughts. I'm gonna be honest. I like this index better than I do like decks. It's a cheaper index, like it's handmade for you at $49.95. What I say, $49.95? $49 even, sorry. $49 for it. It's just a good value in my opinion. I do think we are in the era of indexes, and that we'll continue to see more people releasing their indexes. And my opinion too is like, everyone should just go out and try to make your own index. Figure it out. Create an index that's going to work for you. But that's not for everyone. Not everyone likes to do the arts and crafts. You've got ones like Eddie Raymond who creates a good quality product for you there. All right. I think that's it. If you have any index, let me know down in the comments which index you like and your preferences and why. If you have Eddie Raymond's Rough and Smooth index, tell me about it and some of the things, your own pros and cons with it. So, all right, that's it. I appreciate all of you being here. My name's FiddlinJonny. Oh wait, I forgot what all of us YouTubers do. You're supposed to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done that. So please do that. It really does help, and I appreciate it very much. All right, my name's FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.